Okay, so we are live. Hello, good evening everyone. My name is
Hey.
Arnel Madrazo. I'm the teacher vlogger, so I'm really happy to have with me two of the young professors in Western Mindanao State University. Young, but really achieved. I think they already achieved, for me, at their age, they already achieved something that their parents can be proud of. Both are masters holder, and that they are very successful teachers also. And more than that, they are my friends. No, it's good to be with young people, who are really very intelligent, outspoken, very expressive with their ideas. Both have already graced my vlog, my live vlog. So first is Ma'am Karil, my resident vlogger specialist, uh, who is always with me here during the awards and as well very supportive. That's why we already both reached 1,000 subscribers. Yay! So thank you, thank you. So let me. So Sir 30, sir, hi. Say hi to my followers and to your followers as well.
Yes, good evening to everyone, to all the viewers and followers of Doc Arnel's vlog. Good evening. I hope you're having a great time there in your respective homes, and stay tuned for more discussion on tonight's topic.
And Ma'am Karil, say something. Oh my God.
Hi everyone, it's Karil Keno here, Miss K, Mom K over here. So happy to be with Sir Nel and Sir 30 tonight. I hope you'll stay tuned for all of the different topics that we're going to talk. It's going to be exciting and fun as well. Thank you, Sir Nel, for having us.
So I'm really praying that nothing untoward will happen. The signal. So we just have to keep the ball rolling. So we will start. Okay. So first of all, let me promote. Thank you also for my students who are here tonight. My students, engineering students, my psychology students, and my BAEL students, Bachelor of Arts in English Language Studies. No, they are with us tonight. And they have been waiting for my live vlogs because the previous ones were not successful. But now I hope this will end up very successful. I hope so. No, with thank you for StreamYard for sponsoring this. This is a free live stream that we found. I found this. I learned about this for free. We can do this for free, and my students also in multimodal communication can also use this. In fact, this interview talk, I am presenting this as a blog. As a blog example for my students, can also do this activity. They will also be doing this using the same StreamYard, which is for free. And so for tonight, really, Ma'am Karil is really very inspired with the topic.
Oh, sir. Tamang tulog lang.
All right. So, by the way,
Thanks,
ma'am,
sir.
thank you for conceptualizing the poster. Credits to Ma'am Karil for the poster. It's her, the font size. It's very Ma'am Karil. It's this the pink. It's not mine. So credit is due to Ma'am Karil for the editing and all. So my BAEL students observe how Ma'am Karil designed the font size and all, because you will be doing the same in terms of promoting the blog before you have the talk or interview. Okay, so let's proceed. So I would like to promote first Ma'am Karil's channel. So she's also a YouTuber. Congratulations, Ma'am, for
Thank you,
hitting
sir.
the 1,000 subscribers. No? And the link is there. So to all my students in WIMSU, please do support Ma'am Karil. Click, subscribe, and view her videos also from the start till the end whenever you view the videos.
Thank
And of course,
you.
yes, ma'am. And of course, Sir 30, I already included the link to his PGCA. Sir 30, what's PGCA again?
Yes, PGCA stands for Philippine Guidance and Counseling Association.
And the link here will lead you to the Google form where if they are interested to be a member or if you need help, just please click the link so that you can connect officially to Sir 30. So this is his counseling link. So if ever you have problems, or if you just want to reach him professionally for research purposes or for opinion or for consultation, or if you have problems, you would just like professional. So this will boost the number of messages of Sir 30 now. talking about love and all. Okay, so
Sir Nel,
Yeah.
can we put the live to public? I can share it on my page yet. The students are asking if live na tayo.
okay, go. You can share it now. Share the link.
I cannot, sir, kasi you set your audience to friends lang ata.
Okay, so wait for a while.
Yes.
For a while.
Paki-public po.
Okay, so let me just check the.
Privacy ata yun.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. No, it's public. Okay, wait for a while. Friends. Okay, public
Yes,
now.
sir.
There
Thank
go.
you, sir.
So, we just have to share this in our. I will just share this in my group. Let us share this in our respective groups. Okay, so for a while, people, please give us time. I would just like to post this in my group. Okay, so share. Okay, share so that my students can join. Okay, sharing. Okay, I'm done sharing.
Same. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Okay, so here we go. So, ready now? So, are we comfortable? So, okay. So, I can already see the comments in the live stream. Can you see?
Dami.
Can you see the comments in the StreamYard already? I think it's there. Maybe we will read each comments later. So, let us first. This is the order of conversation. So, let us first. We have ordered so that we will have some sort of a systematic order of conversation because Ma'am Karil sometimes is getting carried away. Di ba, ma'am? So, it's really very important to follow the order. Okay.
Sir Nel, that's
Okay, so so we have 8 points. Okay, so we will just have to follow. Okay? So, kidding aside, ma'am. Sorry. I apologize. My bad.
It's fine, sir. No worries.
Okay, so here we go. So the first question, sir. So sir here is supposed to be our expert. Then Ma'am Karil and I will be speaking from our experiences. Like on my part, I've been 16 years married already. So I can share something. And then Ma'am Karil being the best example
Yes.
of true love waits. Diba?
Sir
So
30
that's
is saying a
here.
big yes, ha?
Okay, the first question, let's see the first question. First question
Go,
is,
go, go.
what is true love? Sir, what is true love?
Okay. So I'll go first. Yeah, for that question, what is true love? Again, true love is a subjective experience, so definitely it varies from one person to another. But I believe there's a common denominator to this. So, in my opinion, true love is more than just experiencing the emotion. True love is a personal choice, a commitment, wherein you expressingly show to another person your love and concern and experiencing the same feeling as well. It can also include being empathic and genuinely concerned on the welfare of the significant other, and thus it is a give and take relationship, and it involves a lot of things like true love. I believe also involves being able to grow together. You are complementing one another and become two different people, but at the same time becoming as one. So that's how I see it when to answer the question of true love.
So since our audience here would be college students, senior high school, and even high school, we are already talking. Let's just cut the chase, sir. We are talking about a partner, correct? We are really
Yes.
specifying true love, referring to this feeling that they are, this emotion that they're feeling towards someone else, right? Towards someone else. Now, I wouldn't want to say opposite sex because we're quite careful with sexuality. It's the feeling that they're offering to someone special, not family, but someone special, other person. And so, yeah, I tend to agree with what you are saying, sir. Maybe let's listen to Ma'am Karil. Ma'am Karil, what's true love for you?
I define this in view of my religion and at the same time on what I have. And Sir 30 is laughing at me. This is so funny.
No, that's just a delay. That's just a delay in the signal. Don't
True
mind
love
me.
is something. For me, true love is something that's healthy. It is stable. It's also unconditional in a way that you will be with this someone in your life. You will actually be taught of what life is. You will be supported on your endeavors and all of that. It's like it's so supportive. It's just there, and it does not easily fade for me, sir. I mean, seeing it from my parents, from the people I know, like you and Ma'am Claire, my mentors, and all. So, ganun siya. It will be the kind of love that will help you and lead you, to a better part of life. Like, yeah, it's like that for me.
Unconditional.
Yeah.
So whatever
How-
happens, whatever the attitude may be of your partner, unconditional. You just have to give that patience and understanding. Right? For me, if you ask me, ever since my concept of true love is really sacrifice. On my part, I'm willing to sacrifice everything for the one I love. And so, maybe my wife who is listening now, you have to listen to me now because for me, I married you because of true love, diba? Because sometimes there are questions whether do you really love me. For me,
Yeah.
true love is really sacrifice. So whatever happens, you will still have to think of the good of your partner. Sometimes that I think is for me the definition of true love. But others may disagree. Correct? Others may disagree. You have to have self-love first before loving other people. But for me, since I already, as what you said, sir, commitment, there has to be commitment. For me, the moment you start committing to someone, you are dedicating your life to that person. For me, for the rest of your life. So, on my part, whatever happens in between, for me, I'm willing to sacrifice career, whatever, ego, and listen to what my wife is telling me. So, I think that's my definition of true love. Okay. What can you say about that, Sir Third, Ma'am Karin?
Yeah, I
Certainly
also
not.
agree with you, Arnel, that love have those elements. And from our sharing earlier, it only shows that there are different types of love and there's different severity when it comes to love. And later on, I will be sharing also with you the different types as well as the degree of love. One is the romantic love, which is what we are talking about right now. But then there are also other types of love, like our love towards our family or friends. Still, they are considered as love.
Okay. Sir, you can proceed. I think that's relevant now. You can
Yeah.
already proceed with the types of love. You can proceed now. That's relevant.
All right. Sige.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relevant.
From my training as a guidance counselor, I don't usually get clients who come to me for love problems, but I did have like a few students and adults. When it comes to topics on love in psychology, I'd like to share to you the concept of Robert Sternberg because he is popular with his theory on the triangle of love. So
Okay.
according to this theory, he says that there are three main components of love. These are passion, intimacy, and commitment.
Okay.
So love relationships vary depending on the presence or absence of these components. So as the name implies, passion refers to the intense physical attraction partners feel toward one another. Intimacy involves the ability to share feelings, personal thoughts, and psychological closeness with the other, while commitment is the conscious decision to stay together. So hearing from those definitions, you will observe that when you like someone, usually it starts with passion. And then when you get to know more, it increases and becomes intimacy. And then if the interaction continues, it can go on to commitment. But in this theory of Robert Sternberg, it depends on the presence of these elements where we consider it a particular type. Let's say, if you like someone only, yung mga crush, yung mga common yan sa mga students nowadays, so it's intimacy, it's liking. Yes. If there is intimacy and commitment, then that's called companionate love. Okay?
Oh.
And then if there's only commitment, if the love is only considered commitment, that's empty love. You commit yourself to be with that person, pero no intimacy and no passion, that's empty love. If there's the presence of passion and commitment, that's fatuous love. If it's only passion, that's infatuation. If it only has passion and intimacy, so maybe for our viewers here, if you're in a romantic relationship right now, try to assess which of these three elements are present in your current relationship, and you will know what kind of love is that. So going back, if passion and intimacy is present, that's what we call romantic love. And the goal here now is hopefully we will reach this point wherein intimacy, passion, and commitment are present. And that if it is, then that's called consummate love. Okay, so I hope now you get a feel of where you are right now in terms of your romantic relationship.
Okay, so there's commitment, but there's no intimacy, there's no feelings. Is it healthy or not?
Well, it depends also on the goal of the relationship. If both parties would like only to be in that situation, then that would work for them. But for others, and that's why it's important to have communication though. Kasi yan, let's say the guy would like only commitment, the girl would like intimacy and passion. So if both needs are not congruent, that might cause some problems in a relationship.
So if they both agree,
So this is the proposal of Robert Sternberg.
so yeah, if both agree on that certain arrangement, then that's healthy because they agree, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is getting really highly academic. So, sir, thank you for the well-researched ideas about love for such a very short period of time. So, what are you, gifted child or something? Okay, next question.
No, I just recalled.
How does one share true love to others, sir? How does one? So we will try to tailor fit or contextualize that question to our viewers now, who are college students, who are
Yes.
senior high school students, and even high school.
Okay.
Yes,
I'll go first though.
yes. And then let's hear from Ma'am Karin.
Ah,
Go
okay.
first, sir.
So with regards to the question, how does one share true love to others? Again, like I said earlier, love is a subjective experience, so it varies from one person to another. We cannot really say that it can be duplicated or exactly the same with another couples or person's experience. But I would also like to share one counselor in the name of Gary Chapman. Maybe you have read his book on the 5 love languages. So according to him, that the way we share our love can be categorized into 5 love languages, namely words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service. Words of affirmation, from the name itself, there are people wherein they express love by saying it, verbally articulating their love. That's why maybe like in my case, I'm not that vocal. Words of affirmation may not be my dominant or first love language. So it feels awkward for me for maybe to see others who are really like parang sweet talaga or parang cheesy naman masyado. But for them, that's their way of expressing love. Now, there's another love language called physical touch. So from the name itself, you will get an idea that it has something to do with physical contact. Okay, some people would like to share their love and receive love. So I'm talking about receiving and giving. Okay, through physical contact like hugging, kissing, touching. Okay. Now, if they have another partner who doesn't like that, so that could also be a conflict or a misunderstanding. Next one is receiving gifts. So there are people who express themselves by giving a lot of gifts, okay, or material things. And then the next one is quality time. So ito yung mga love language wherein medyo mahirapan sila when it comes to LDR or long distance relationship because they want to have quality time with their partner. And then the last one is acts of service. Ito yung mga couples you see siguro trending in social media where you will see the guy doing this to propose to the girl, or you see a guy making a lot of effort to just greet his girlfriend, happy birthday, for example. So that's it. Try to assess yourself. Which love language do you fit? Is it words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, or acts of service?
Okay. Alright. So, Ma'am Karin.
As for me, sir, I would like to base na lang din my answer on the concepts presented. These are 30. For me, I would really say that this kind of love or this true love can be really be shown through the quality time. For me, kasi sir, the quality time that you are giving to someone, for me, hindi lang siya dapat yung magkasama kami at the moment. But for example, we are in LDR, so it's like giving quality time in a way that you would reach out, you would talk to them, you would really find a way out of the busy, hectic schedule that you have to just reach out to the person. So for me din kasi sir, the time that I can give to someone is so special, is so precious. That's why doon ko na-express how much I care to someone, how much I love someone. It's like the time that I really offer to them. Parang time is like the best gift that someone can give you, apart from having money, apart from having these materialistic things. And so apart from love itself na napaka-subjective, the time that you're giving someone actually reflects the amount of, feeling or the amount of care that you have for that person. So doon sir, ihuhugot ko doon, yes. Ihuhugot ko doon sa minention. Yun ang aking side. How about you, sir?
Okay. I'm quite careful with this particular point in terms of touching, giving gifts and all, because we're having students, high school students.
Yes,
On our
yes.
part, okay. But we're dealing with students, and I'm quite careful on what we are discussing here, because what we are discussing here that could be something that is blissful, beautiful feeling, may be misconstrued by parents. For example, what is the acceptable gesture of touch that is acceptable, sir, in showing your true love? Because the tendency of these teenagers nowadays, the chemical things that are undergoing in their bodies, and that feeling and that touch that will bring to them, in terms of imagining things and all. So what is acceptable and what is normal for high school or college students to show their love in terms of physical contact? So what do experts say about, talking about what is acceptable and what is not acceptable anymore, or even normal?
Okay, Doc. I agree with you that teenagers and minors really have to be given guidance as to this kind of issues, because if you look at the biology, the human brain of minors and adolescents are not fully developed. So what we are afraid here is that they will have self-control in when they feel emotions. Okay. So to answer your question, when it comes to physical touch, I believe it's important that parents constantly talk to their teenagers, especially as to these issues, because conversations about sex or about love, hindi masyado yan, or it feels so awkward, especially in our culture as Filipinos to talk about this. But I think it is important that we let them know that it's okay for them to share to their parents what their thoughts are on this. Now, going to physical touch, it really depends, Doc, kasi there's no ruler that will guide us and what is right and wrong. But I think what's important is if the touch will not lead to temptations or will not promote certain things. I think you know what I'm talking about, that will lead to premarital sex or mistakes that they will regret after.
The concept intimacy, right? So in the model previously, you made use of intimacy as feelings, correct? But another meaning of intimacy,
Yes.
the intimate relationship, is that the physical contact is already there. Am I right?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So when you say
But in intimacy,
there's
it's
contact,
also about
okay. Yes, sir. Proceed, sir.
Yes, that's correct. But in intimacy, it's about shared feelings. Shared feelings. So, the manner of doing the shared feelings can be done in different ways. It can be through conversation. It can also be done through physical touch. Now, with the theory of Gary on the 5 love languages, yes, he mentioned about what is this, physical contact or
So there's
physical touch.
contact.
But then this is awareness for everyone that it's possible to communicate love that way. But then again, there must be self-control or limitations.
Okay, so thank you, sir. Now, at this point, let us first look at the comments. So I am seeing, so Dean Adrian Semorlan, my dean in the College of Liberal Arts, is with us. So his comment is nice.
Wow. Hi, sir.
So, yeah, Dean Adrian is
Thank
with
you.
us. So thank you, sir. Good evening. So we are happy that you like the topic. So thank you for your comment. And of course, let's spot for questions. I think all maybe they're just sharing the.
Someone actually asked Sir Nel if they can ask a question. I think we can let them so that they can type it in, right?
Just post your questions now. You can
Yes.
just post
Anyway,
your
I'm also viewing them here.
Thank you, ma'am. So just please help me trace the questions, so that.
Right.
Okay, so this is really becoming interesting, no? So from our conversation, sir, I'm learning a lot from you in terms of the word intimacy, because to my mind, intimate relationship is physical. But what you're saying is that based on the previous model, it may not be physical. Correct, sir? It may not be physical. So that's why this talk
Yes,
is really very.
Because the main idea is shared feelings.
All right. So yeah, this is really what I like in inviting experts, because we are learning. I am a psycholinguist. I'm not a guidance counselor. So I'm learning from Sir Turdy and from Ma'am Karil's personal experience. Diba, Ma'am Karil? So,
Right, sir.
okay. So let's proceed with the next question.
Okay, go. I
Can
think we are on the
measure-
research now.
Okay. Can we measure true love from the perspective of research pertaining to intimate relationships? Sir Turdy.
Can we measure true love from the perspective of research pertaining to intimate relationship? I said there are degrees when it comes to love. I think I have answered this question of the theory of Robert Sternberg's triangle of love. So there are 3 elements now according to his theory, and then it depends, okay? If intimacy is the only element present in that relationship, that's liking. If
Correct.
intimacy and commitment are present, that's companionate love. If it only commitment, that's empty love. Because this is happening, especially in maybe in arranged marriages. It's also possible that commitment is only present. If passion and commitment are present, then that's called fatuous love. If passion only, that's infatuation. If passion and intimacy, that's romantic love. But what we'd like to reach the point of where intimacy, passion, and commitment are present, then that's what we call consummate love.
Okay. So in fact, this question is very much related to the first. In fact, the opening statements or the opening concepts that Sir presented, no? In fact, theory, you already presented Robert Sternberg's, correct? Theory. So yes, it
Yes,
can be
Robert
measured.
Sternberg. Yes.
It can be measured. No? It can be measured. Okay, so next is, what does research survey say about the number of Filipino youth, young Filipinos, perhaps teenagers, young adults, who are in serious intimate relationship right now?
Okay. So with regards to that question, what really concerns me first is maybe the viewers would like to know how the term True Love Waits started.
Okay.
Because this is a campaign, this is not just a title talk.
Okay.
So I'd just like to share that True Love Waits is an international Christian group that promotes sexual abstinence outside of marriage for teenagers and college students. So it started in April 1993, and as of 2004, in America alone, millions have pledged their oath to be abstinent or sexually pure before marriage. So it started from a church, and then it went widespread. And even in our profession, guidance and counseling, we found this relevant. So we integrate this in our guidance program and guidance services. So you'll find this kind of seminar, this activity in orientation, in recollection, okay? And why is this being provided in schools, especially because of the alarming increase of teenagers, especially engaging in premarital sex. And like in one study by PSA, or Philippine Statistics Authority, did you know that 1 in 10 young Filipino women aged 15 to 19 is already a mother or pregnant with first child? 1 in 10 young Filipino women ages 15 to 19 has begun childbearing. 8% are already mothers, and another 2% are pregnant with their first child, according to the results of a National Demographic and Health Survey. I also gave this talk before in DepEd Public Schools, and another concern why we give True Love Weight seminars is that we want them to avoid, of course, yung mga associated sexually transmitted diseases. So it's also alarming that there is an increase over a third of Filipinos engaged in premarital sex, and a majority of them do not use any form of protection, according to PSA. So that's a little background of how and why True Love Weights was implemented or
so
campaign.
This is a reaction, no? This is a reaction or response to the increasing number, to the increasing number of Filipino youth, no, who are engaging themselves, no, in intimate relationship. But it's a Christian group that started it, and then the guidance counselors adopted that. What do you call that? It's just a movement, right? It's like a movement that started it in order to counter.
Yes, Doc, it's a movement. Yes, I remember I attended one True Love Weight seminars conducted by another counselor, and then they have this like ceremony. They actually play like they're getting married, just to show to the youth that how what is this, the sanctity of marriage, and that it should be honored and observed and wait upon. Okay, so yun po. And then right now, even non-government organization give this kind of activities to outer school youth and to different organizations.
Okay, so that factual information shared to us by Sir Thordy can really be used, no, for us, no, not only the young people who are listening right now, even the parents of schools. No? That information can really help us really to think about, to do something. I'm a father to a daughter who is now in senior high. So that's why I'm really contributing. I'm contributing to the conversation, so that I was inviting my daughter. I hope she's watching, so that she's learning from you in terms of all these things are reality. It's a reality that all these things. Just imagine that. So increasing number. So as teachers, we need to do something. Okay. So next question is.
Yes.
Okay, maybe let's try to scan, ma'am. Karil, can we look for questions from students?
Yeah, sure. It's here. I think there was one sharing answer. It's actually from my brother, so supportive. He mentioned that the longer you wait for the right person to come, the sweeter the experience will be. It is better to prolong the courtship stage so as to assure true love and not only a simple puppy love, according to him. Kapag minadali mo ang panliligaw, madali ding matatapos ang relasyon. So that's like a comment. And
how old is your brother? How old is your brother?
He is 21 and I'm
21.
24.
And he is thinking like that? So he's really learning
from you.
Ma'am.
Older one.
It's Ma'am Karil, sir. It's Ma'am Karil, who is, I think, the elder.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, any more?
I'd like to comment on that.
Yes, sir, third.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with him that there are actually studies wherein if you postpone or you get to know more the person before you commit to marriage, when they become newlywed, studies have shown that they stay longer. But I hope the waiting is a worthwhile wait. What am I talking about? I hope while we're waiting, while we're getting to know the other person, I hope that we're also using that time to improve ourselves, to develop ourselves, so that we can also we can also help, parang we can also be a source of strength by our partner. So it's really like a give and take relationship. I remember there was a movie, parang the title, I'm not sure, I compliment you, something like that, which I don't really agree, because you need to be whole first before you offer yourself to another person. It's not, for me, in my opinion, it's not really fair if you engage in a relationship because that other person completes you. You must be complete yourself before you even engage in a relationship, in a serious commitment.
Let me share to you my my personal experience. I'm not really an expert on this, but I met my wife. I met my wife in a college of education. We were
True.
classmates. The story is cat
Yes,
cat and dog. We were really competing in a class. So she's really coming from West Salutatorian. So quite, high in terms of belief in herself, academically. And we always clash. We always argue in class. I don't have awards in high class, but I can argue. So that's where the cat and dog, we always fight, in class. And yet I developed a feeling for her. Then eventually I courted her. Do you know that I waited for 3 to 4 years? 3 to 4 years before she said yes to me. So it took a while. You know why? Because my wife was the eldest in the family. So being the eldest, she's quite careful with her decision to commit, because whatever she will be doing, her sisters will also follow. So she would always tell me, I cannot say yes to you yet because I am the model in the family. So I really waited. Imagine that. I waited for quite some time before I got that yes. So I'm an example of someone who really waits. I really waited, but I really did my best courting her. You know what? I could have surrendered already, because I can see that nothing is happening. Nothing is really happening despite all the magic and all. But persistence. But even if I got the yes, there's still restrictions. I cannot go to visit her at home. It took a while before I became close to the family. But on my part also, I really respect her. I really visit her. Eventually, I visited her at home and befriended the father, the mother, the sisters. That's my style. I don't meet with her outside, like go somewhere else, But I always visit her in her residence here in Kasumbang, where I am now. So, sir,
Wow.
in my experience, I really waited. I really waited, and my wife is the only relationship I had. The only relationship, which led to intimacy and all. So I'm not the type who explored. You know what? Some people were exploring, guys were exploring here and there. On my part, I was just focused on her. And after graduation, I worked still her. I'm still focusing my attention to her. Even if I was already working, there were a lot of temptations. And yet, after the courtship, then I got the yes. Still, I was really treasuring the relationship. Just imagine how many years are we now together. So if you include the College of Education, it's more than 16 years, right? It's more than 16 years. So that's why I really love sharing this, so that my students who are listening to this. Yun na nga, Ma'am Karil, di ba? You don't need to rush, di ba, Ma'am Karil? Do not rush.
Ain't rushing. Enjoying the life at the moment. And sir, a comment on that magkaaway with Ma'am Claire. My parents are also like that.
Okay.
Yes, and it took them years as well to really be together. And I think college are like almost to end college now. So yeah, until the end of time na. So ganon. I could really relate to that kind of waiting thing that you mentioned, sir, because I heard this kind of story as well from my parents.
And you know what? Whenever you just have one person in mind, what is happening is that if the doubt is coming, sir, if you're doubting and there are temptations around, it's like if you want to let go of that person, it's not easy to let go. You know why? Because you treasure that person since the beginning, diba? If that time will come when you are doubting already whether okay, will I proceed or not, you will go back to the memories as to how you started in college of education. You know where she said yes to me? My wife said yes to me under the star apple tree. That's why I have a vlog.
Agree.
The star apple tree
Yes, there's a
in
flag.
college
Wow,
of education.
really?
Yes. That star apple tree facing the administration building, the one with the bench, the garden. That is where she said yes to me. That garden there.
All right.
So, after how many years, whenever I'm faced with doubt, I am having, conflict in mind, uncertainties, I just go back to the college of education when I was really desiring her yes. You know what? Sometimes the guys, when you get the yes, and then you get what you want, you forget about where you actually started. Diba, sir? So, I think it's really important
Yes.
to value the person. So, if you value the person, wait for the person. So, it's like instant noodles, sir. Children, high school, college students are into instant food, instant noodles. They want rush They want then when they get it, when they are already full, then they tend to just forget about how they started, the difficulties that they experienced before they got the yes of that person. Again, respect, right? So, Ma'am Karil, maybe you can also share. I'm quite looking up to you because at your age you're done with
Quite.
yes, edgy. Yes.
So, yes, sir. Ano man, sir, Char?
It's like you're hitting your goals goals after goals after goals. You're achieving it You're achieving it. So I think something is I think you also want to talk about time management because whenever you are committed with someone, you'll have to include that person in your time management. Do you agree?
Yeah,
That
I
would
would agree.
include in your time management. When he demands for time, then you will have to give time, correct? So, how do you manage? How do you manage your studies, your teaching, and as well, their personal life? So, I think this is something that our viewers, my followers, students, can get something, the wisdom coming
Right.
from. Yeah.
So just a disclaimer, at present I'm not in a relationship. However, I could totally use my past experience and the present experience that I've had and what I read, what I know about to give
Yeah.
tips on this concept that we have. So connected to time management. As for me, sir, reaching the dreams and the goals that I've had, I have totally set my priorities. And from a setback that I have had um, 2 years ago, that really taught me a lesson to totally wait for the right person, connected to love. Let's go to love first. As for me, I am actually not searching, neither rushing things, but I have the hope that God, of course, will provide this time for me. And at the moment, I am totally enjoying my singlehood because rooting from the movie that I have watched, How to Be Single, singlehood only comes once. Just as how life only comes once. So let us enjoy this singlehood, as they call it, because this will only come once. Enjoying myself, not totally aloof or being in solitude all the time. What I'm trying to say is the intimacy that I also have with my friends, with my family, and with myself. Like I'm trying to discover myself more. That there are skills that I have never done. 2 years ago when that thing happened, and that thing happened actually it was a breakup and all of that. And there was a question here, sir, which asks, paano mo daw malalaman kung toxic na siya? So, the toxicity of that or the intensity of being toxic is actually when it comes to a point where it's no longer helping you to be a better person. It's already killing yourself. You can no longer manage your time in a way that the person would always demand the time for them. So as for me, mabalik ko dun, sir, sa time management, it's really a matter of setting my priorities straight. And not really, hindi naman sa pagbubuhat ng bangko, my friends have really appreciated my talent on doing this time management thing because they always wonder, how do I get things done at some point? And
Yeah.
mababalik ko talaga, sir, it's like I really know what I want. I really know the priority that I have to give priority to. So, ganun siya, sir, for me. And they would think na nahihirapan ba daw ako. Of course, I always have my downtimes as well. However, I always pray to God. Of course, I don't forget God in all aspects of my life. And parang andun lang, sir, I go back to the track that I want. However, in terms of waiting through love waits, I would really agree na it will really arrive. And I am in no rush or in search of that person or whatever. Let it arrive in the most perfect time. But right now, I could really tell the public that I'm so happy with this single thing that they got. Because they think that if you're single, you're unhappy. They think that if you're single, you are, alone forever. Hindi naman ganun eh. It's about time that yun yung sabi ni Sir 30, to develop yourself, to discover yourself somewhere. So take time and enjoy life. So yun. My students know me for that. So kaya yun, sir. Sabi nga nila, hugot queen. And also, that's for me. Setting my goals straight or my priorities, knowing them. And from that kasi, sir, pag alam mo na kung anong priority mo, you could totally allot the time that you wish for this kind of activity. And so I think that's for that kind of concept or idea. So, I hope nakatulong or na-enlighten.
At your stage right now, it seems to me that you're really there. It's like you're sure of what you are. And I think when you hit that stage where you're really sure, it's not only the movie, even if is it fiction, right?
Yes, sir. I think it is. It's based from a book kasi, sir. So.
The way you're telling the story with conviction now, I can see that you are really sure. You're certain of where you are now. Sometimes
Thanks God.
You're sure. You're happy with your family. I can see that you're very happy with your family. And if he comes, right? There's a comment here, Abdu Rahim Taraji. Ito na pala si Abdu, no? I think it was the comment that you mentioned a while ago. Okay, so how do you know? Okay, toxic Charis. So when I was in high school, Charis, Paras. Wait, let's do it by order. Lenny. In expressing love.
I have taken a screenshot here so that we won't skip. Sir, si Charis also asked, ano po ang pinagkaiba ng destiny at fate, as in FATE? How's that?
Okay.
Sir 30, Sir Arnel?
Okay, so in terms of terminologies, concepts, let's give it to Sir 30. Sir 30, maybe you can, you have an insight on that.
Destiny and fate daw, sir.
Destiny and fate. Yeah, I think these are popular terms because of teledramas that we see in the television or movies. And I just want to give a caution to everyone, especially to the teenagers, young people, that what we see in the movies are not exactly a true reflection or mirror of what's happening in real relationship. So it's not always rainbows and butterflies when it comes to relationship. There are also conflicts, misunderstanding. So when it comes to destiny and fate, personally, what I believe is it's a process of getting to know the person, of trying to accept their strengths and weaknesses, and also discovering yourselves and how else are you willing to change or improve to be able to complement with your partner. And when you have that kind of willingness to do, then destiny and fate is created by the both of you. It's not really like if someone comes and then there's a butterfly who would go to his head or her head. That's my destiny, that's my fate. I don't really subscribe to that, especially when I have clients who would share their concerns on that area. It's not really like a work in progress. Kasi I don't want people to get trapped now. They're in a 10-year relationship and then toxic siya, which was already discussed a while ago. And I don't want to get out of this 10-year relationship kasi I feel that he is my destiny or she is my fate. So it varies from person to person.
Okay, next question, John Paul Sarmiento. With teenage pregnancies, do you think it's time to change our approach in teaching teens sex education?
Okay, changing our approach, yeah, that's possible, but again, it should be evidence-based. We don't just try and then if it does not work, we'll try a different approach. it must be evidence-based because we don't want to give, especially the young people, some mixed ideas or mixed ideas. So we can change our approach, but I think the approach we're in, the parents are involved in the education and guidance, and then there's a complement from the school and even from other stakeholders like in the community. If everyone is working, doing something to on this aspect, I think we won't have a problem. For hopefully we will reach the point where teenage pregnancy or premarital sex will not be a concern anymore.
Okay, next question. Ano po pwede niyong i-advise sa mga taong takot mag-commit in a relationship?
Okay. It depends on the person asking. Because if you're a teenager, if you're a student, I would really advise na you focus first on what
Study.
studying and finishing school course, following your parents. But then, before you answer that question, you also first to assess yourself. Are you ready to be in a relationship? I think that's equally important. That do you have already achieved the things that you want? Have you prioritized things clearly? Are you emotionally mature to sustain the different experiences that you'll have once you decide to be in a relationship? I think it should start from you first. Are you ready? And then from there, I think you can now ask the second question, yung about your partner.
Okay. Ma'am Karil, do you have a question there?
You actually read it already, sir. And there's one here, sir, asking na if how do you assess if a person is serious about you? Kayo na lang sumagot yan, sir. Kasi usually sa boys naman. How do you know na seryoso na daw yung tao na nandinig? I think you two can answer that.
Maybe Sir Arnel would like to start.
Yes. Being the eldest on this,
Okay, so my story with my wife, we were classmates, right? So we were always fighting like cat and dog or cat and dog. So when did I learn that it's like, now, on my part, it's like when she helped me, when she helped me about, we had a group activity, and then we helped one another. Our teacher then was Professor Nympha Eding. So she was our English 101, Ma'am Nympha Eding. And so Ma'am Nympha Eding gave us a group task. And so her tendency is to always, she's really vocal about her ideas and all. She was really very loud, which I am quite annoyed with the way she is. And then when she said, stop doing that, I can do better work, I will do that for you. I will do that for you. So when she did something for me, I felt that thing already. On my part, when she said, I will help you, on her part, it's her nature to help. But then it's like, for me, I took it as something special, no? And then when I went to her and I want to say thank you, I felt a bit ashamed already to tell thank you. On my part, I felt something is already there. Now, on the part of my wife, she was really questioning me. She was really questioning kasi parang hindi seryoso. It's like she's hearing stories that I'm with this person, with that person, but you know, it's as if I'm lying. It's as if my personality does not match with what I say to her. So she wasn't sure. But I think you will know it, Mami. You will know it. You will know it when you feel it. So if you're asking me, how do you know? You will know it. If there's something between you and that person, you will know it. You will. If there's something, you will. You don't need explanation to that, Ma'am Karil, diba? Oh my God. So you wouldn't really, you will. That's a joke. Okay. All right. So you will know. So the answer to the question is, how do you know whether the person is serious? You will know based on his actions. You know, sometimes the things that he is not doing before, he is already doing. But I think, again, going back to Sir 30, the question is, are you already ready for such a relationship? No? It will come. It will come on the right time. No. For now, the question is, are you ready to enter into a relationship? Given that you are still studying, you know, there are a lot of things to accomplish. No? So I think that's the question that we need to answer. Okay, next. So there are interactions here.
Yes, some are already singing or typing in lyrics of a song. Ikaw na ba si Mr. Right?
Okay, so okay, we are enjoying this. No? So let's proceed to the next question. Okay, next is, does this pandemic have an effect, positive or negative, on how the young view intimate relationship nowadays? So the pandemic, in terms of effect, does this have negative effect? Like talking about the touch, right? Men by nature would be social being. Whenever we see each other, we say hi, hello, we shake hands, right? But now we can't do that anymore. So in terms of touch, is there an effect to this, the pandemic, given that talking about intimacy, the touch is missing. It is literally missing, right? We can
Okay.
touch each other, yeah, social distancing, yeah.
Yeah, so when pandemic happened, we are now restricted with quarantine and health protocols. So definitely we have lesser contact, physical contact, especially to our friends, loved ones, and of course to romantic partners. And I believe there are positive or positive or negative effects on this. Like the positive one is because of pandemic and the quarantine thing, we now have more time to talk to our partner or our loved one because we are just at home. But then the negative part would be it is through usually in social media, video call or chat. So although it's nice that we can still access or communicate with one another using these technologies, but there are elements removed like you have mentioned physical touch, and especially for people who subscribe or whose love language number one is physical touch, so somehow it can affect their love towards that other person. But again, this might also be an opportunity for these couples, these individuals, to explore other love languages. It doesn't mean that your dominant love language is physical touch. That's the only way you can show your love. So you can also do that by words of affirmation or by action or their gestures and quality time. Yeah, now quality time is more available than ever. Kasi before this pandemic happened, di ba, when they date, you'll have time first to fix yourself, for the girls, of course, they have to look good before they meet their partner for a date. So medyo kumakain ng oras ngayon, wala na eh. Kasi everything is video call, so you have more time. Another problem that I see.
Yeah.
Yes, go. Continue. Yes, go.
So the danger, there's a danger of video call. So it's the absence of the physical contact, the actual. Sometimes this will lead to exploitation also. Experimenting, I think you already heard about sexting. Correct? Sexting or in video call, they are, experimenting. That's dangerous. That's a very dangerous environment to be in, because the moment you record it and then you accidentally, let's say, have it fixed to
Post it.
say, then someone will post that private intimacy. So, the exploitation, the danger of exploitation is really possible. So what's this? What's your take on this nowadays? In terms of the school, the parents, and as well the guidance counselors.
Yeah, thank you for that, Doc Arnold. Yeah, these things are really possible, especially among our youths wherein because of technology, they have more, they can do more things, great things, and sometimes dangerous things like doing sexual thing and then getting recorded and then maybe used against them. So we have a role, like for the parents, like I said, this conversation must be normal or okay. There must be a culture at home wherein the children can freely talk to their parents about this without judgment. And of course, there will be judgment along the way, but then they know this is judgment with love. The schools can help by integrating in their curriculum some topics on this. And guidance counselor, of course, we include this as one of our services through information service. We conduct seminars or homeroom guidance service where we visit each class so that we'll have a smaller group, and then sharing open forum may also happen, which will really be a learning experience since they're asking the guidance counselor on what to do without really feeling, oh, you can ask questions that normally they don't ask with their parents.
So we call that predatory, no? Predatory relationship. So sometimes, you fall into the wrong person and then record it. So these things are sexting and, video something there. You openly talk to your students about it. The possibility of being exploited in this environment. You are talking about this.
Yes, it's part of our service called information service, where we provide seminars, trainings. We call expert. Sometimes we call police officials to give talks on this and the repercussions for being involved in such act. But then we don't end with the seminar. So through the seminar, hopefully we can disseminate awareness. And usually after the seminar, some students will be more curious but then would like to talk in private. Then that's the time they can visit the guidance office, and then we can have now the counseling service, which is another service in the guidance program.
Okay, sir, on a serious note, let's say a student here is listening, is already in that dilemma. Let's say, for example, within the week, someone recorded. What if this is already happening to that person now, listening to us? What is the first step that student will have to do in order to find solution to this exploitation? What's the first step?
Okay, so definitely there's a danger because another person has a recording or something that would humiliate the dignity of that student. So I'd like to tell maybe our viewers who are in that situation not to be afraid, and to tell you that we have support and resources. Like you can always talk to your parents and tell them that you're in this situation. If you're not comfortable yet, there are teachers and school guidance counselors who can assist you through the process. It is not an easy process. Okay, there will be different emotions that will happen here, but then the goal here is to liberate you from this situation, because if you just keep it in yourself, what we're afraid of is you might get some thoughts of like suicide or harming yourself. So we don't want to avoid we avoid that problem.
The first reaction is takot eh. The student will be afraid to tell the parents because of the reaction. So what you're saying is don't be afraid, liberate yourself, right? If you're listening to me now, to us, if you're already in that situation where someone recorded your intimate moments in video call, you really have to talk to someone credible, sir, right? Guidance counselor, teacher, advisor.
Yes.
You have to tell, because if you won't, then the more this won't stop, correct? But I think NBI has the ability to take down videos, correct? To take down videos in this pornographic sites, correct? I think they have the authority, sir.
Yeah.
YouTube,
Yes. I'm encouraging lang the students, especially students who have guidance counselors or functional guidance office, to go to these people, because these people are trained to provide psychological first aid or stress debriefing to really process the psychological effect of this issue, and then hopefully give you the resiliency to proceed to the next step, which is to inform police officials on what other steps that need to be done.
Okay. These things are realities, sir, right? It cannot be that we are talking about love, beautiful feeling, but these are the negative effects, sir, right? These are some of the dark side of love. Sometimes when you give love to someone who is not really that credible, who is really not that genuine, who have ulterior motive against you, who might appear giving you love, but then there might be consequences. No, that's why we are talking about pandemic, talking about video call, that they're always online. It's always a possibility. Okay, Ma'am Karil, sir. Ma'am Karil left, so maybe it's because of the signal. Okay, so we will add Ma'am Karil again. So this is the beauty of StreamYard, because we can just add Ma'am Karil again. Okay, so maybe the conversation is becoming intense. Okay, so let's proceed to the next question. So, how is social media helping or not helping the youth from understanding the essence of true love?
Okay, maybe Ma'am Karil would like to start.
Yeah, Ma'am Karil, social media, how is it helping or not helping the youth or the young people from understanding the essence of true love?
Right. I suppose, and I really believe that technology or the improvements we have in all aspects right now, as we are living our lives, has both its negative and positive effects, specifically social media. So with social media at hand, if they are misusing it at some point, they would live on a dream or on an imagination that true love is this concept. Why? Because nakita ko kasi doon sa post ni ano, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. They would tend to compare. So that's where the negative side comes in. However, if this social media, they would use to look into inspirations or people they would like to look up to, they would tend to, strive harder to be better versions of themselves at the end of the day, so that they could, have their version of their love lives. However, sir, if they would just go for that, ay gusto ko manood nung, let's say, post ni this person, kasi gusto ko ganon someday. Well, let's remind ourselves that at the end of the day, my love story will not be the same as that of Sir 30s or Sir Nels, right? So, ganon siya, sir. That's my view. So, I suppose it's a balance of taking inspiration, learning the lesson from that event or that post, let's say, for example, sa Facebook, and not totally living in a dream or in the cloud nine forever. So, a balance of everything. That's perfect. That's my advice and tip for
Okay, so well said, well said. So, at this point, we will have to look for some questions. Interesting po ako sa committee, sa relationships. So comments, they're giving comments. Some are just expressing their happiness here. Yes, sir, indeed, relationship is difficult. Kenny said, yes, sir, indeed, relationship is difficult, but if one can wait despite the challenges, just needing that good foundation, then it shall stand. Well said, Kenny. Okay. Rachel Jane Leonardo. Yes, sir. Nakakalimutan talaga kung saan nagsimula, kaya they take for granted someone they love. So, yeah, always go back when the time you were courting, correct? The time when you were really working hard, desiring for the person. Okay, sino next? Magic lies in the mind, but my blade follows my heart. Very metaphorical. What's the meaning of that? Magic lies in the mind, but my blade follows my heart. So maybe there's a sacrifice there, right? Sacrifice. Okay, so it's like what Aman Thakran said. Don't rush love, because even in fairy tales, the happy ending takes place on the last. That's according to Angelica Rowe, quoting Aman Thakran. Okay. Kenny said, the oceans are not just our home, it is who we are. Okay. So Kenny is really into it. Okay. John said, there are a lot of ways to make a heart happy, and a very few ones to break it, and yet we still often do it. Okay, so the others are merely comments, and some are patama. Patama to other classmates.
There was one, I think, from Noor. I think, sir, she is her student. She said that some of the words that I have mentioned were really like an arrow from Miss Rayana and Namla. Yeah, arrow where she could relate.
The words from you, ma'am.
Yes, the discussion then, sir, as a whole daw. Kasi totoo nga daw na there's also intimacy between friends, and that true love is inclusive to everything and the like. So some also agree that they really will not rush love and just go with it. So, mga bata pa kayo.
Yeah, Mary Jane said, very interesting topic, sir. Marami pong creative idea ang naiisip ng mga tao. Yeah.
Yes.
Raihana said, the words of Ma'am Karil earlier was like an arrow. Yun na, sinabi niya. Yeah. And then, the pandemic made us realize that we should treasure every moment that we had with someone we love, because we will never know if that would be the last hug or touch we'll give or receive. Correct. That's Richelle Jane. Okay.
And someone also mentioned, sir, that this pandemic accordingly taught people in a relationship how to be in long distance relationship. So I don't know how others do that, but yeah.
Okay. Unica, unique kasi, kung magli-liberate naman kami, sir, mabibigti ako ng papa ko eh.
Yes, yes, yan.
Akala ko, pinaglalagyan na ako ng mata ni Papa. So, crush pa lang. At least okay yun, di ba? You will be prevented from maybe it's not yet the right time. The time will come where it will be okay to your father. Joyce, she's a teacher, DepEd teacher. It is very important for teachers to open up with pupils with these issues because some pupils are more open to their teachers and teachers are here to help. Precisely, we are here. We are using our influence in order to talk about issues like this. We have to talk. That's why I'm inviting experts, not only according to my experience. Sir Turdy, being my resident guidance counselor here, will really help us, no? Actually, already did help us, and now continuing. He is continuing in giving his insights. On my part, I'm still learning because I'm also a father to a daughter who is now into this. No? Arnie said, I have a friend po kasi. Okay, so this is kind of long, Ma'am Karil, kasi sa kanya, but then my friend promised to herself na hindi muna siya because she wanted to finish her study. Correct. So on and so forth. Okay, Rayhana, true. So really, I can see that our audience here are really interacting with us. So this I think this True Love Waits, I think really is very interesting topic. No? Well, thank you so much for very insightful session. Okay, maybe let's proceed towards the last question already. So we still have two more.
Go.
On my part, what role do the parents and teachers play in their understanding of true love? Where's the borderline to parents and teachers? Could it be, sir,
Okay,
that
maybe we can start.
Parents can be toxic also? Can parents be toxic also to children? The reason why they are not opening up? Am I talking?
Yes, that's possible. I just think that's possible, Doc Arnel. But looking at the perspective of the parent, I know they're doing this because they have always good intentions. Of course, these are their children. But they may appear toxic because maybe they don't have the skills or they're not aware as to how the approach should be. So it's important that parents will be educated on the ways on how to have discussions like this. So I mentioned one is to make sure that such conversation is normal and comfortable between the parent and the child. But another is, which I would like to take from your experience though, is that the actions of the parents. So even if the parents will have good advice, sound advice, but then if they don't see true love demonstrated by the behavior of the parents, then you're giving again mixed messages. Okay, so usually they will believe what you do rather than what you say. So parents should also be careful that if you're saying something, it must be followed through with your actions or behaviors. Now, for the teachers, yes, I agree with the one person who commented that teachers can also be like a way for students to express if they have some concerns, especially in love or if they're in a dilemma. But again, teachers are also human beings, so sometimes our good intentions may be misinterpreted as being toxic or nagging on the students. So it's really also good if we continuously develop ourselves, assess ourselves if our ways or behaviors are helpful rather than harmful to our students, because teachers really have an impact because they have first contact to the students, unlike with the guidance counselors. Usually in one school there's only one guidance counselor over 1,000 students, so we don't have yet the rapport. We have not yet established the rapport on the students, so the teachers really have a key role to reach out to them. So the teachers may start doing the processing, and then later on they can defer it to the experts if it's beyond their capacity.
Okay, so sir, before I give a follow-up, I have a follow-up. We just have to recognize the presence here of Sir Julio Uno, my former principal.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir
Hello po,
Shams!
sir.
My classmate!
So he's now in CET, so he's a supervisor in CET.
Yes.
So according to him, good to see that you, Sir Arnel, Sir Turdy, ma'am, good for this initiative. Okay, so he likes what he's seeing. So sir, thank you for joining us.
Yes, Sir
Okay.
Shams.
Let me follow up. Okay. what is what to what extent? Example, subject teachers. Subject teachers, I'm teaching English. My goal is to teach English or math. Can we talk about these things together? Example, if I'll give you one scenario. This is a real scenario. I will not be mentioning the school in Manila. During the class, I was teaching English. I saw the student just broke into tears. She was really crying. She can't control her emotions. So what I did was after the class, I don't know, Sir 30, if I'm doing the right thing. I'm an English teacher, but I'm quite careful, no, because I might be put in hot water. What I did was I talked to her. What's the problem? And so she the boyfriend broke up with her, no. And so she was really crying. She was affected by it, and it went for weeks already. And then I asked her, "Did you go to the guidance counselor?" And you know what her reply? "Sir, my feeling of guidance counselor is just like for delinquent students. I wouldn't want to go there because most of the students there are like behavioral problems and delinquents. And then
Yeah.
they just said you just have to see someone with a psychiatrist or what." And so she did. But then during that week, no appointment yet. And so she was still affected, and I was the teacher. You know what's my subject? I was teaching research. And good thing, you know what happened, sir? I really
Yeah.
called the mother because I can see that is leading to depression, and she might be doing something, it might lead to that already. So what I did, I didn't leave the student, sir. Did I do something that is right? I did not leave the student because I was seeing her really very depressed. And so I said, "You have to go to the guidance." She said, "It's not helping me." You know what I did? Call your mother. I called the mother. Then I said
Okay.
told the classmate, "Do not leave her." And so monitoring her from time to time, and then the mother came and everything went well. That person graduated my research class. Did I do
Yes, yes.
did I do the right job? Even if I was just a research teacher, but I did not see that child who was depressed at that moment.
Yes, Doc. You did the right thing. You were in the class, and then somehow you identified a student exhibiting some signs and symptoms of depression, or you
Right.
were typically worried that something is wrong. So
Yes.
this is something also, teachers, that we should not forget that our role goes beyond teaching. We also
Right.
touch lives, and one way to do that is to reach out to students who cannot even express themselves or too afraid to disclose their feelings because the fear of judgment is there. So from what you have shared, Doc Arnel, yes, you did the right thing. You were immediate in your action. You went to the student. You convinced her to tell you more about the experience, and then yun. And good thing that you convinced her to allow you to call the parents, because there will be like if things comes to worse, like they committed suicide, for example. So it will be traced na you had an information, but why is it that you did not inform the parents?
Okay. So
Yeah, you did the right thing, Doc. And that's also our cry among guidance counselors, that people think that we are disciplinarians, that our role is to give sanctions. That's not true. We are different from disciplinarian. We're actually pro-student. We are on the mental health and well-being of the students. So just hopefully through this platform and many more to come, that awareness will increase as to our role. But then again, yeah, students may not be comfortable talking to a guidance counselor because basically we're strangers with them. So we also need the help of the teachers to be like our bridge or transition for them to access services.
the reason why I'm quite careful, sir, because from time and again, I think there are some students who are, feeling quite close to you. They would want to share something to you. And of course, you know that our job is academics. The moment students would be messaging personal stuff, we're quite careful. But I think we would be able to
Yes, yes.
identify whether the students are just playing games with you. Because at that time, I really see the reaction of the student. There were symptoms already. And so I did act, but I was just quite careful because I might be bypassing the work of a guidance counselor. My instruction was, please go to the guidance counselor. She refused. She said, I went there last week, but they did not attend to me. In fact, I'm seeing such psychiatrist today with my mother. So, but since she was crying and all. And so, but
Alright.
if someone would message you, students would message you about love life and all, how do you handle? How do you handle students who would be saying, sir, I'm having problems with my boyfriend and all? How are we supposed to act, especially male teachers talking to people?
Okay, so if the case is a student suddenly goes to you and disclose this concern about love life, the first thing that we need to remember is that the student went to you because they trust you. So that fact alone would, like, if you push them away or if you dismiss their idea, they
So
might
you have to talk.
get hurt or offended. Yes, of course,
So-
talk, help him process his or her feelings, thoughts, and feelings. But then, just be careful because often after that, they will be enlightened. They will be equipped on what to do, and hopefully, the equipping will not involve you anymore, but rather other options in their life that they know how to do next. You're not part anymore of that process.
Sir, do you also have sessions for teachers in WIMSU?
Teachers in WIMSU, actually, the guidance office is welcoming everyone, not just the students, parents, teachers, even administrators. However, this is only my opinion, but I feel that not all teachers are willing to share their problems to colleagues like the guidance counselors, because maybe they also have like apprehensions, or maybe I'll be judged by my colleague. Weak pala ako. I'm afraid there are thoughts like that. But to tell everyone that the guidance office welcomes all kinds of persons in the school.
Sir, what I mean is that, not for my personal consumption. Do you have programs for teachers on how to deal with problematic students the proper way professionally?
Yes po, Doc, there is.
There is.
Like I said, we have a guidance program, and in the guidance program, we have basic guidance services. So we have individual inventory, information service, counseling service. Of it, what we're trying to say is that belongs to information service, wherein based on the needs assessment survey that we usually conduct at the beginning of the school year, we find out that teachers need this kind of competency. So we provide things, seminars, or mentoring for teachers on how to handle such issues.
Okay, so thank you, sir. So we come to the final question. So hopefully you learned something from us. So this final question is just, I think, but proper, and it end with the question. So, is their faith or religion contributing significantly in their understanding of true love? So we would like to end with God, no? We would like to end this conversation with this. Is their faith or religion contributing significantly in their understanding of true love? Sir. Maybe we'll start with
You would like to start?
Ma'am Karil.
Okay. In terms of faith or religion contributing significantly, I would really say yes. Because at the end of the day, the most empowered thing or person in this world is God. And it should totally have a significant effect. Char, parang research, it should totally have that significant impact on our day-to-day living. As for me, as a Muslim woman, my view of love, my view of marriage, my view of sanctity of the things that should happen before and after marriage is greatly influenced by Islam. Thus, the Muslim students or Muslim viewers we have here, I know you understand my point. So, I would totally agree that there is. So, sir, for me, lahat ng hugot ko sa in view, no rushing, it will come in time. Of course, it was also influenced by my readings and my in-depth feeling towards my religion. So that's for me. It totally has a significant impact on the view of true love, on the view of love as a whole, and the day-to-day dealings that we have towards people and ourselves. Yeah.
Okay. On my part, my view of love, true love is a sacrifice, is really, I think, inculcated or embedded in me since I was young. So since I graduated from a religious school, it's clear to me that true love, just like what I believe in, true love, like Jesus died for me. That's true love. And so I'm also willing to do that whenever I commit to someone. So my idea of sacrifice, love is a sacrifice, is really closely related to my belief, my belief with my faith. So I also hope that my students will also value their faith. If you really love God, if you really love your Creator, you have to value obedience, right? Because all good things will come later when you obey. Now, sometimes you don't obey, so many bad things happen. So, but for the agnostics, there are some students nowadays who do not anymore believe in faith, in their faith or in their religion. Some are even atheists, right? Some are not going to church, Some are not going to their house of worship. Some are just reasoning out, according to their philosophy and all. Freedom, they would seek freedom, they would seek happiness, they would explore the world without their faith. That's dangerous. And so I think it's really necessary for us to be grounded to our values in our church or in whatever religion we have. If you're guided by the faith, then I think everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. Even if we have pandemic now, if we have faith in God, that everything will be, all these things will pass. And that the basis of true love is really God. So, sir, maybe you end the talk, sir, being our expert.
Yes. Yes, I couldn't agree more with sharing of my two companions here. Maybe my idea is faith or your religion is like part of you. So if you ignore this when making decisions on love, then you're actually ignoring a part of yourself. So it must be included. It must be in accordance to your faith. And remember, our partner will also have their own faith and religion. And this is something that should be part of your conversation if you decide to put this relationship on the next level. Because again, you'll be together for the rest of your life. And if you don't have an agreement or on this concern, then it might cause conflicts in your relationship. And of course, before you met that person, you started loving God first. So don't forget your first love.
Okay, so thank you to my guests. So, sir, thank you again for gracing this vlog. I hope I can still invite you in my in our next talk. So, Ma'am Karil, Sir Turdy. So, I think this chemistry, I think we have the chemistry. We can see from our guests, students, teachers, DepEd teachers, former principal, dean, they are here joining us. So, I think they are enjoying the conversation and the topic, and as well how we handle the conversation. There are sensitive issues that came in, but then we were able to handle it quite well. So I will not hold you for long now. I know that you also need to rest. So thank you very much, sir. May the good Lord bless you more for your generosity. If I'll get rich, you're the first two people that I will treat at Garden Orchid, or even not.
Thank you, Sir Nel. Thank you, Sir Turdy.
Thank you, Lord. Yeah, one of these days, I'll treat you out for lunch.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's Garden Orchid. So for handling this very well, scholarly, academic, with basis.
Viewers, you've heard that.
And my love story, Ma'am Karil's love story, and Sir Turdy, no, because he's the expert. So he is here at an expert capacity. So thank you, sir, Ma'am Karil.
Glad to
Sir
share
Turdy.
what I know. Thank you.
Okay. So bye.
Thank you po. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay. Okay, so let me just recap. So maybe I can still tonight. So let me just reflect on what we have discussed. So, well, before anything else, I'd like to thank all my viewers, teachers, students. My students were here, psychology, engineering, and English language studies students, for joining us.